So what we're talking about again, and I just hit record, is the forgiveness application for Schedule C filers, and what happens if they have a negative net income. So let me show you the Schedule C here. So what, under the new regulations, what they were allowing people to do is go off the gross income of the business versus the adding up the total income and the net profit or loss of the business. And what was happening was a lot of people that were applying for the PPP loan didn't have anything left over here on line 31. So infinite wisdom. So for example, someone will get like a check or a 1099, or like a self-employed or a contract employee, and they'll have expenses and so forth in order to operate, but but because all the expenses was more than what was left over here, what happened is, because the old regulations, or was designed by the SBA and for the PPP loan, how much money you give was based on what was on line 31. And obviously they changed that. All right. Now, let's just say under that, and when you get your funds, you have 8 weeks or 24 weeks from that time to spend the money, and then you have to record, take track of those income and expenses. And so what I would suggest is you always want to have a separate business account from your personal account, right? That's hopefully that's a given. But in order to track it, because the easiest way you to show the SBA when the money that you spend is through the transactions through your bank account. And then you can also use some kind of documentation, like a profit and loss statement or something like that, or also track it. All right, so what does it says? So here's the final rule document from the Small Business Administration, Department of Treasury. And what I want to do is read to you exactly what it says, okay? So right here, to receive full loan forgiveness, a borrower must use at least 60% of the PPP loan for payroll costs, and not more than 40% of the loan forgiveness amount may be attributed to non-payroll costs. For example, if a borrower uses 59% of its PPP loan for payroll costs, it will not receive the full amount loan forgiveness it might otherwise be eligible to receive. Instead, the borrower will receive partial loan forgiveness based on the requirement that 60% of the forgiveness amount may be attributed to payroll costs. All right, for example, if a borrower receives a $100,000 PPP loan, and during the covered period, and that would be that 8 weeks or that 6 weeks where it says right here, and during that covered period, the borrower spends 54%, 54,000 or 54% of his loan on payroll costs, then because the borrower used less than 60% of the loan on payroll costs, the maximum amount of loan forgiveness the borrower will receive is $90,000, which is with 54,000 in payroll costs constituting 60% of the forgiveness amount, and 36,000 in non-payroll costs constituting 40% of the forgiveness amount. All right, what is that saying? So again, so 54,000 is 54%, which is supposed to be the amount you're supposed to have is 60%. So that money So the rest of that funds, or the 36,000, uh, then doesn't get counted, right? So because Economic Aid Act changed the forgiveness cover period for either 8 or 24 week to a cover period between 6 to 8 weeks at election of the borrower, so you can make a decision on what you want to do. Additionally, eligible to receive a loan of $150,000 or less should not, at time of the application for loan forgiveness, be required to submit any application or documentation in addition to certification and information regarding paragraph 7. So typically, if you're getting a loan under $150,000, typically they're not going to ask for a whole lot of documentation based on this right here. But but you but make sure, because you are going to have to fill out and a documentation you're going to have to attest. So you're going to have to attest for what you did with that money. And so let's go here. All right. Do independent contractors count as employees for purpose of PPP loan forgiveness? Okay. No, the answer to that is no. But what I wanted to do is just make sure that it doesn't matter if you're a Schedule C, a partnership, all the money. So like, for example, if you're a partnership, it has to do with whatever you can calculate as self-employment taxes that kind of goes into that. But I just wanted to point that out, that it doesn't matter if you have a loss or a profit or whatever. It's all about the money. It's all about the money being used for payroll. And if you are a Schedule C or independent contractor, gig worker, whatever, the monies that go to you individually, so 60% of the money is supposed to go in your pocket as the solar owner. And then the 40% is supposed to be go towards your expenses of your business. So hopefully that will clear up a lot of questions. That was one of the questions I had. And if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you.